Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about the Cheshire murders on July 23rd of 2007 in Cheshire, Connecticut. Two men named Stephen Hayes and Joshua Commissar Javetsky entered a home owned by the Petit family. Um, Firstly, they just decided that they wanted to rob the place, but it then escalated later on into arson, sexual assault, and then ended up being murder. Um, they then eventually killed Jennifer Petit and both of her daughters, Haley and Michelle. So, to the outside world, it was just an act of pure evilness, but in the sense of through a criminologist's eye, the case serves as just a chilling case study in human development. So, when we look at the criminals, for example, like Joshua, we're not just looking for a bad moment that they had, but instead a tough life that had occurred. So in today's world, the life course theory is what provides the most type of comprehensive explanation for us as to why these people and the guys chose that petite family, that house. I mean, that night. So the life course theory basically describes that it's that the criminality isn't just a fixed trait, but more established at birth. So instead, it's just a dynamic process. It then shows that our lives are made up of trajectories, which is a long-term pattern that goes beyond behavior, and even turning points, which are key events that can either push us towards a better life or pull us further into the criminal life. This theory is the concept of the cumulative disadvantage, which is vital. It also explains that early failures in life could lead to later failures. So, this then creates a snowball effect, which initially makes it nearly impossible for someone to stay on a proper social path due to a huge intervention. So, the evidence from the case shows that Joshua did not just randomly snap, but more of his life being a textbook life course persistent trajectory. So, his childhood revealed that he had trauma and that he had early behavioral issues. So, the theory shows that an early onset antisocial behavior he had was one of the strongest predictors to his adult criminal life. So he was raised by a huge religious family, but he failed to keep up with the behavioral milestones that were set. Instead, instead of him finishing school, he instead took a specialty in cat burglary. So Stephen, his accomplice, was a career criminal and also an addict. While Joshua was a high intelligence specialist, Stephen had several opportunities for him to change, which included fathering a child and this is due to his deep psychological patterns and the cumulative disadvantage of his past time in prison. These events then made it harder for him to change his life around and get past that criminal period. So the life course theory also accounts for the influence of others. The turning point in 2007 wasn't just a job or a marriage, but a remake of a high risk trajectory. When Stephen and Joshua met in a halfway house, their stories that combined by histories of impulsivity and failed special drawings is what created the whole idea of the Cheshire tragedy. In conclusion, the life course theory explains the escalation of the tragedy, and it best explains how a series of property crimes and drug runs over 20 years that built the behavioral momentum that ended in violence instead. So these murders show us that when an individual fails to attach to the normal society through work, a stable family, or meaningful bonds with others, it can then end on a dangerous side. And so, understanding these life patterns is not by excusing the horror of their actions, but instead noticing the signs of the warnings of someone who is choosing to go down that path of criminal behavior.